All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host Phontomen, and welcome back to the show here. Now, we just got done playing War Thunder here, but let me pull up Limbus Company. We will be starting and seeing what the event is about, and I don't know if it's voiced, but it's probably not, so I'm going to be talking for a couple of hours here, but we were busy sports betting for the entire evening. Alright, so we're going to get started with the event today. We have the entire month, so I want to see the event, but I may not do all of it this evening. If you're wondering what the chat is talking about, we're extending over the War Thunder stream where people brought up Seed. What a horrible mistake. Yes, also Shin is basically just a very bad retread of Camille. That's all he is. That's all he ever was. And what's her face? I can't even remember the blonde girl's name. What's her face is just 4 with even less detail to her. That's Seed Destiny. It's Zeta Gundam, but bad. Anyway, moving on. I think we're good. Right, good. Okay. All right, welcome to the show, folks. The new Justice Gundam has a unicorn horn beam saber. Jesus Christ! Could they come up with a single solitary original concept? My God, could they come up with a single solitary original concept? Also, speaking of gambling, we have a gacha to run too. So as soon as the game actually loads, right, we gotta see if we get Mechanicus Faust.
정화의 시간입니다.
Right.
더러운 것들을 순수의 흙에서 떼어내버릴 시간이죠.
Yeah, there's that crazy lady that's behind the desk. She's still here. Oh, and the mobile dolls are just Jins. Really? They didn't come up with a new design for them or anything like that? Jesus fucking Christ. Wow. I'm not really surprised because it's, it's Seed. But then again, they do. I'm somewhat surprised too. You'd think they'd put a lot of money into coming up with just a new design. Huh. That's the only thing they really put money into. It's definitely not their narrative. But anyway, all right. Spin once. We're trying to save some of our lunacy, but spin once. Because there is a free 10 pull at the end of the event, but we're gonna spin once just to see. Any winners here? Nope.
결투를 받아들여라. 혹은 추하게 도망치거나.
New identities though, but nope. Well, one single solitary new identity. One. And a lot of ego shards for Result too. We're gonna save the money there, but we're gonna probably come back and bet, and throw more coins in here, because apparently the new identities are good. So, on to what we're doing for this evening then. It's time for Murder on the Warp Express, which is another, we just got done with a mystery novel, and now we have another mystery novel. Not quite sure why, but this feels somewhat familiar. Oh, you know what this reminds me of? Now right, I was trying to figure out what does this remind me of? This reminds me of the cutscenes from Lobotomy Corporation. Lobotomy Corporation, like the ones that are actually taking place in the facility, and the ones where you're talking to Angela. That's what this reminds me of. That's what this aesthetic is from. Been a while. But okay, so what's the worst that could happen? Hang on, what's the rewards here? So we got all this. We got Heathcliff, the event Heathcliff, right? Okay, so free polls. Actually, no, free 1 polls. Okay, wait, that's no, okay. So it's right. So it's 2 10 polls. So it's 20 tickets. Fun tip, any W Corp identity that you have will generate bonus currency when on the team. Well, I have a shit ton of those, so I guess we're using those. I don't have all of them, but I guess we're using those. So, let's see here. Let's get that up really quick here. Since we're gonna go down to literally don't care. Okay, so. Alright, so Sang. Actually have to equip the egos. What am I doing? I don't really have that many. Sang. Faust, and all these are level 30-ish, so not amazing, but present. Yeah, Fluid Sac, and then Hexnail? Right, yeah. Alright, so there's that. Dawn. We have Warp Corp Dawn. Yeah, Lifetime 2, and Telepult, because we're doing a Warp Corp. Charge. Many charge. Well, if you have anyone with Dimension Shredder, that counts too. Unfortunately, I don't think... Well, we have... No, I didn't get Warp Corp Result. Not Hong either. I also... By the way, I did get the 3-star Hong Lu from the last event. Off camera. I didn't do very... I got all of the resources and none of the nameplates, but I did get both event IDs. No? Do I have anybody else from Warp Corp? I don't think I do. Nope, that's actually it. I thought I had somebody else in there, but no, I don't have, whatchamacallit? I don't have Ryoshu, I don't have Honglu, and I don't have Mersault. Even though you can be forgiven for Mersault, since Mersault has been, like, one of the worst identities in the game, or at least the worst 3-star in the game for ever and ever and ever and ever. I think he's probably better now, but he was absolutely garbage until, Don Quixote fucking telepole battery charge shenanigans actually fixed charge teams. But okay, so that's 3. I don't quite know what we could do with this, but I suppose a good standby would just, throw Rabbit Heathcliff at the problem. Okay, we're gonna be, I guess, bonehead about this with Tang Tang Hong, and then, who do we have left? Because we can use, Hello, CSM. Been fine. We were just gambling with, Tomcats and War Thunder, but okay, so, just throwing at the highest level shit I have at this, because not everybody is top level here, but we should be okay. Use blunt damage. Blunt damage, you say? Well, okay then. We can do blunt damage. Okay, so there's that. Right, there's also that, and then, roast spam, right. I don't have any good identities for Greg, which is funny, because Greg was actually the person I was using the most early on, and we don't have anything. But granted, that technically is a Greg. That is a Greg, and it does blunt damage. And then, no surprises here. And, this is the only identity. Actually, no, you do blunt damage too, I think, but we don't actually use that. So, that's Pierce and Slash, I think, right? Right, Chef Ryu? It's Pierce and Slash. Yeah, it's just. Or do we want more Pierce? Okay, so. What's the most resistant? Is it Slash or Pierce? This kind of determines which Ryoshu we're using. What's the worst option, Slash or Pierce? So, piercing. Is the piercing the worst option, or is it the better option? Worst. Okay, so it's Slash. Slash. Okay, then. Well, okay, made Ryoshu then. Fantastic. I am just throwing numbers at the problem. Okay, we're gonna roll with that. I've had no spoilers. I don't know what's going on, but we're just gonna have to, go see. We've got the rundown on which damage types to use, and that's it. So what's going on here? We're not even fighting for the first thing. Also, this is my office now, apparently. I did catch the mini scene right before this event, but that's our office. All right, how did this happen? Oh boy. First, we boarded the warp train to get to our next destination, P-Corp. Got into our fancy first class flash freeze hibernation capsules. Ah, boy. No. We've seen this movie before. And We were supposed to arrive at P-Corp after a quick blink of an eye. But, and there's always a but when we're dealing with the Warp Corp. You're probably wondering, yep, that's me, Dante. You're probably wondering how I got myself into this situation. Dante, please respond. There's what happened now. The first thing I saw when my vision returned was the perplexed look of Faust, who had entered hibernation at the same time as I. Then I realized that we woke up mid-transit on the warp train, which was only supposed to take like 8 seconds. This is where everyone is rudely shown the thing with Warp Corp. They go into an alternate dimension for fucking eternity and eventually wind up at their destination, but it's, time moves differently and, some stuff happens. Which could only mean that we're now stranded in some lost, unknown dimension? Dante, how did we know that? 7,000 years later, 4,000 years ago in the future. Dante, I understand your considerable degree of disorientation, but what the hell happened? Oh, here we go. First things first, let's rewind and return to the very start of this highly unfavorable situation we find ourselves in. A few days ago, our next destination is to a warp train, Dante. Why, though? What? Yep, that's where it all started. Yep, that's where it all started. Right there. Yep, we were going, they said the W word. There I was, still perplexed by the incidents at T-Corp, when, with my awful idea of clearing the air by asking Vergilius what for our next destination, not knowing the storm that my innocent question would bring. Why? Again, why is anyone still, well, it's a secret, obviously. That's why Warp Corp is still in business, but Jesus Christ, why? Boss, if we get another Crossroads style game and you stream it, Seed must suffer. Yes, I know. It is always, it is objectively morally correct to rag on Seed. Verily, I must have misheard thee. I'm certain you heard me right, Don Quixote. We are now en route to the T-Corp warp train. So actually, but then again, we know about it through the identities. That's why we know. Right. That's why we know how fucked up Warp Corp is, because we have the identities that tell us what's going on. Right. That's how we already know. Right. Why would we do that, though, then? The warp train station must have some conundrum that must be resolved there. Indeed, a quest that must be swiftly addressed at the station. Yes. Not on the train, but at the station. Yes. Did a distortion pop up at one of the warp platforms or something? I see that you are now significantly less disinclined to take on some jobs. Take on some side jobs, but no. We are boarding the warp train to get to P-Corp. End of story. There's nothing between the lines, so don't try reading into it. Yes, but we must ask what is not on the paper to begin with. Why are we taking that? Couldn't we just drive there? It was only natural that the sinners immediately fell into a state of collective dumbfounded shock. None of the sinners have any history of working at W Corp but the identities. We're actually taking that train. Through what vague information we could gather from the identities, we all had some fragmentary knowledge about the terrible secrets of Warp Train's operation. Yeah, so that's how we know. So we know. Why are we still going through with it, though? The boss of this event wasn't even that hard, to be honest. No bullshit gimmicks, just a straight fight. Well, that's good. I initially considered hiding this information from the rest of the sinners, but since sharing things with everyone and letting them get their 2 cents in usually ended up being pretty helpful more often than not, I've been sharing more of these as of late. Though I have a very dim, if present at all, recollections from the time during which I wear the identities. It can be determined from the conversational records between the manager and the identities that mechanisms behind warp train operations can be deemed somewhat bizarre and inefficient. They're also horrifying. Have you played Mecha Break yet? No, but I signed up for the beta today. I'll see if I get in. If I get in, we'll play. Oh yeah, it's that 10-second trip that actually takes a long, long time, right? And when the train reaches the destination, they just wipe the passengers' memories and wipe them off the floor and all other surfaces, because that's also usually what happens. The most fucked up thing about warp trains is that Lovetown isn't new. That's actually just kind of normal. Kamisar, thank you for resubscribing, sir. Welcome back to the show. I also heard that the passengers get so tired and weary that they start literally ripping and tearing into into one another. And also kind of like doing other very strange things. They also can't die. What isn't normal is Lovetown breaching containment. Yes, but that was the library shenanigans. Sounds like I might finally have a chance to see a masterpiece with my own eyes. Jesus Christ, Ryoshu. Everyone else is Jesus Christ, we're going onto a warp train. Ryoshu, Jesus Christ, we're going on a warp train with a giant sword boner. Yep, that's Ryoshu. Even when the sitters wear the identities through my identity cards, the identities, memories, or beliefs don't bleed into them once it's over and done with. They kind of sort of do, and in Sinclair's case, that's usually a good thing. I remember when Faust explained that, due to the risk associated with embracing such influences, there was a filtering process to intentionally block them from reaching the sinners. Ah. I see. So yeah, we kind of don't want to have N-Corp Sinclair, that might be bad, being the real Sinclair, and also Bloodborne Heathcliff, who's just kind of a screaming, madman. We kind of don't want that, mixing, together too hard. But then again, if they keep doing this, they're gonna run into an identity crisis, the likes of which no one was ever seen before. But then again, something tells me that Faust is also having said identity crisis, and no one's really noticed yet. Ahab Ishmael, oh yeah, right, that's an identity. And that's why the sinners could use the identities of some of our worst enemies without getting infected by their philosophies and whatnot. Yeah, so my bets are Faust has actually been through this without the correct filter, or rather, without this filtering. This is why she's kind of referring to herself in the third person most of the time. She had to come up with a very interesting way of mentally gymnastic-ing, that back together again. But it also meant that we couldn't retain any new information that each identity had to offer. That's why I keep a record of some things that sound particularly important and sometimes share it with the rest of the sinners. Yeah, we have an interview. Yeah, we have an interview with the screaming madman and mad women identities, and then we what did we learn today? My voice doesn't really carry well past the window, so most of our communications are one-sided, but I had an abundance of W Corp identities, so it wasn't difficult to pierce together the truth behind the trains. They're awful, don't go there. But why are we going there? Unless management intentionally wants us to suffer, which is, again, clearly is part of the deal. But, maybe ignorance really is bliss. So, again, is this like pre-gaming for Don Quixote? Do we need to suffer? We need to get that suffering train really a-going? Haha, train. Your alarm response is possible, and possible in compliance has already been accounted for. You're doing it anyway. Faust, then thou hast known this all along. Wherefore hast thou not deigned to tell me of this? You didn't need to know. Faust has indeed known this all along, as no knowledge is out of Faust's reach. Yes, because I know everything. As expected, a solution to your dilemma has already been prepared. We're going to give you candy if you get on the train. I seriously doubt your solutions involves not getting on the train, so what is it? The bus. Oh, what about the bus? There's no way this thing will fit inside a train car. Karen vetoes, too. No one to feed Mephi while Karen's gone. Miss House. The rearmost tail cars of warp trains are all freight cars. That is where Mephistopheles will be safely fastened and transported. And the LCB will have the benefit of boarding as first-class passengers. The bus begins swelling with noise again, though it's a slightly different air to the alarmed response from earlier. Oh, that means we'll just sleep through the horrible, unending nightmare. First-class passengers? What, the seats for those pompous toffs? Even on normal trains, you've got those sods whose proudest accomplishment in life is planting their asses in first-class seats, while others are cramming themselves into freight cars because they haven't the cash or even an economy ticket. Hey, don't look at me. I've never been one of those first-class. Never been in one of those first-class seats before either. Isn't the ticket for a single first-class seat like as expensive as 3 or 4 months' salary of a first-year wing employee? Can our budget really even handle paying for all our fares? Well, we did that during T-Corp, and apparently that's, well, aside from the a million gajillion on that they attempted to charge us with, but everyone paid for everything pretty handedly, so it appears that Limbus company is just made of fucking money right now. The company's budget is not a subject that warrants your concern. We have money, the end. Don't worry about it. I heard first-class passengers get some cool bonus stuff like personalized private capsules or something, don't they? That is the promotional language, yes. They are flash freeze hibernation capsules, to be precise. They have been designed to easily withstand the true amount of time it takes for the warp train to travel from point A to point B. The trip will be over in the blink of an eye for the passengers. The company's regard for our well-being is unfamiliar yet welcome. You think we're getting on the fucking train. Saying we're getting on the train in the first place. They don't care about our well-being. They just want to limit problems. They probably know all the information that Dante knows about the situation. They're just thinking that, you know, if we tie you up inside the fucking flash freeze capsules, you'll cause less trouble for the eternity it takes to get the train from point A to point B. That's what they're thinking. They're minimizing damage. To be provided such extravagance merely for our comfort, such occurrence is quite seldom, which is why it's immediately suspicious. Right? I honestly thought they were gonna they're going to slip just the guide and Karen into the first class seats and ship the rest of us in economy. This seems like an unnecessary luxury. Otis, shut up. They should have saved their budget and given only the executive manager and their loyal advisor access to those seats. Otis, shut up. Otis, shut up. Shut up. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're taking the train to get to our next station, all right? We have to think about the unique nature of warp trains and prepare ourselves accordingly. Right? I know it's first class and all, but warp trains are just plain creepy. I knew you'd also be worried about. For example, economy passengers are going to have a hard time getting into a first class car if they can even attempt to open it. Okay, words. I mean, I'm pretty sure the door separating the cars is ironclad. Ishmael, who had been holding that first-class promotional pamphlet in her hands for a while, was chattering chattering on with fire in her eyes. We won't even have to lift a finger. We haven't seen that face in a while. We won't even have to lift a finger. We just have to board the train, get in the capsules, shut our eyes, and snooze the entire ride until all that mess in the other cars blows over. I heard they used to give out commemorative merch back when their finances weren't in the gutter, and oh my god. We won't have to do anything. Nothing happens. We just wait. We go to the Winchester, have a pint, and wait for all this to blow over. It'll be fine. Oh. A true adventure is not without its hardships, yet even the most exalted of heroes cannot venture without respite. And, in very rare occasions, the hero may even deign to select a first-class seat to rest in place of a quaint inn. Indeed. Don Quixote, you're breaking character there. Don Quixote actually, we had to diverge from actual Don Quixote because Don Quixote's shit would get very tiring, and this is kind of how we got this all the way back at, whatchamacallit, at accidentally causing an international incident at a border checkpoint. We kind of had to put that Don Quixote aside, but actual Don Quixote would be ranting and raving about how he's gonna, not only is he gonna sleep in the freight cars, he's gonna sleep on the roof of the freight cars. I just can't look at Don the same anymore. Shh, Destroyer, shh, 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 shut up. Seems like everyone was at least somewhat interested in the fabled first-class seats of warp trains. I can sense that there was a growing consensus among the sinners that even a warp train trip might be acceptable if it meant that they could ride in first-class seats. Yes, but we will soon regret this. I will board the train if I must. So, is first-class seating mandatory? I prefer the scenic route. Don't want to miss out on all the fun. Ryoshu, put the murder boner away. You stop that, or we're gonna have Deku drawing you tan and missing half your clothes more often. Man's doing science over there. We could have him do more. Vergilius pretended not hear Ryoshu's question. Very well, then I assume we are all in agreement. Let's go. I have a matter of great importance to discuss with thee. What is it? Out with it, lass. Beating around the bush ain't like you. Don Quixote carefully began, almost whispering in a low voice. That is, in the first-class seats. I have heard tell that we must board with our feet freed from our boots. Doth that claim hold water? Oh, come on now. What kind of nonsense gossip is that coming from? Is this coming from? No, I don't want to give away my shoes. The shoes. The shoe. I saw Deku with the slinkini and glasses. He also did another image. Sweaty tan Ryoshu. The man is doing science over there. That is, that man is a think tank. Tis not gossip, forsooth. I have overheard aught from those we have walked past here today, and when one of them inquired, you know that you gotta go barefoot in first class, right? The other responded, of course, man. What am I, stupid? Doth the travelers speak true, Ishmael? Don't ask me, I've never been on one of these before, either. I don't remember seeing anything like that on the pamphlet. Give me a sec. I mustn't be separated from Rocinante. Not even for a twinkle. I shan't toss Rocinante to the side next to such vulgarities like the ugly shoes of Sir Heathcliff. Don! Oi! You! I implore thee, O illustrious red gaze, prithee, grant me thy permission and allow me to board with Rocinante. As expected, Vergilius to answer with his usual exasperated rebuff, but this time he responded in a somewhat serious, if tainted by familiar annoyance tone. Fine, keep your shoes on. Okay. So what about the shoes? We have to get into this too, because Well... Rocinante is the name of Don Quixote's horse, and additionally, Don Quixote's spurs do have a name, but okay. What is the deal with the shoes? We never really got to... This has never been explained, and I suppose this is where we're gonna get the explanation. Next! The Northern Fixer. This place is huge. It's still even sepia tone in here, good lord. This was my first impression of the warp train station. Oh, so this is... Don Quixote shouted vibrantly, immediately recovered from her previous apprehension of the sheer possibility that she might be separated from Rocinante, aka Shoes. So we need to understand what's going on with the knight here and her spurs. But okay. So each nest has one of these massive structures in them? Well, this is clearly designed around T-Corp, so it's probably not as grand with other stations. I've got nothing, oi. Oi. No... Oi, know anything about what they're asking? Heathcliff asked, gesturing towards Mersault with his chin. Every warp train station has been built with a general design philosophy that draws from their respective nests' architectural idiosyncrasies. It could also be said that many critics in relevant fields praise the warp train stations as one of the many cultural cornerstones of the city, by being all cultures at the same time. I have no idea when it happened, but Heathcliff started treating Mersault like a walking encyclopedia from time to time. He's pretty good for that. Mersault, young Mersault. Lo, is that passenger over yonder one from the west? Incorrect. Leather-based clothing and material armor are predominant fashion trends, often visible in the outfits of Western population. While that individual's cloth-based style is something ubiquitously observed throughout the population of the North and South, they are largely considered to be an Eastern fashion trend, rarely seen among Western... Prithee, slow thyself, for I must make an record of thy lectures. Sorry, the A and the R blended together, that's me. Record of thy lectures. What wisdom doth thou have to impart regarding the fashion of the northern regions? I have once espied in a magazine that they are garbed in loose-fitting outfits, understandably so, given the colder climate of the region. An opportunity for a first-hand observation stands before you. What? Is this what Mechanicus Faust is based on? Ah! Everyone's screaming at each other. 3 seconds of screaming. One of utter fascination, the other of unmitigated frustration. Ooh, What the shit? You nearly blew out my eardrums. You're one to talk. Dude, I've got an audible frequency range expansion implant in my eardrums. Holy shit, man. Now get the hell out of my way. You're blocking the walkway like a ragtag band of hicks who's never seen a warp train before. Some of them might have seen a warp train before, but yeah, no, it's pretty accurate. Damn it, I take the train all the way here for an expedition only to lose my target, and now these assholes are trying to blow out my eardrums. Great, just great. I love this. Wow, this guy's amazingly current. Guys, is it that obvious we've never been on a warp train before? And the ticket fee came straight out of my damn pocket! Whoa, watch out, big fella. Someone might get seriously hurt if you keep swinging those 4 arms around. Each holding a weapon to boot. Prithee, wilt thou stand still for a moment to satisfy a few inquiries of mine regarding thy outfit? Oh, yes, stand in absolute stillness for 5 minutes. And 5 minutes? And, seriously? The Fixer, with a particularly impressive set of prosthetic arms, spent a few minutes venting several of his numerous grievances at us before storming off to a different platform. Ah, indeed, 'tis grand, this city of sundry odd personalities. I'm pretty sure he was thinking the same thing. Yeah, how grand. Yes, grand. I guess the city really is full of people with full body prosthetics. I guess the city really is full of people. The end. That's when Vergilius slowly walked up to our group. Well, then we'll rendezvous at the destination. Huh? Will the illustrious Red Gaze not ride alongside us? W Corp policy demands that those with the title of a color must board a train specifically prepared for them instead. Colors have to ride a specific Interesting. Oh, are you like riding the first class plus or something? That's a color for you, I guess. Special treatment from the wings no matter where he goes. It's probably not that amazing. Karen wants to go back to Mephi. Mephi will be lonely. I already told you why you can't, Karen. On 3 separate occasions in which I bought you those multi-flavored candies. Humans are not allowed to board the freight cars. And Miss Faust. That is definitely a safety feature. Oh, right, because if they all go horribly insane and the color goes horribly insane inside of a warp train, the color will probably destroy the train or have some other horrifying thing happen, and it's probably going to cause a lot of damages, or the cleanup crew is probably going to have a lot of work on their hands trying to figure out which viscera is each passenger, or something even worse. Yep. Viscera cleanup detail, but it's a warp train. Vergilius, after exchanging a knowing look and a nod with Faust, escorted the particularly peeved Karen away. Dante, let us proceed this way. We followed Faust's guidance to the entrance to our train car. That also isn't really Man, there are some outright errors and some sketchy grammar in this. Hey, look, we're starting to see colors again. Whoa. Damn. Whoa, hey, our colors are starting to come back. Wow, we've seen red again. Jesus Christ. Ooh. Fun story. There was an incident with a color once. They trained the entire carriage to be combat ready, and our corp had to get involved. That's why the policy regarding colors from then on. Oh, okay. What happened? Man started an army. It kind of got messy in there. Hey, this must be their fabled complimentary food and drink of first-class seats. Heck yeah, of course. Quality stuff like these gotta be included with that insane pricing. The general response to this room was a surprise at the rows upon rows of expensive-looking sizable capsules. Flash freeze hibernation, huh? I guess it literally freezes our bodies in a flash? Yes. And the ice crystals are very small, so you don't get freezer burn. But then again, this is all kind of magic. You'd die if you were in one of those, but future magic, woo. Faust, are these flash freeze hibernation devices safe? Please elaborate on your exact definition of safe. Thank you, Limbus Company. Please tell me what you think safe means, because there's many types of safe. There's won't kill you and won't kill you right away. These things are supposed to freeze us solid, right? Can we really come back from something like that? A flash freeze hibernation device will put you in a temporary state of death caused by rapid cellular cryopreservation process. However, the rapidity of the process prevents damage to your cell walls during the phase change. Therefore, in most normal cases, it will not cause any issues, which, okay, it kills you technically, but yes. Okay, that's a way of extrapolating how ice crystals forming very quickly and very small in a flash frozen anything result in less damage. Faust is aware that this model has fully resolved has fully resolved cell wall breaching issues caused by a cryogenic density change or by ice crystal growth of hydrogen molecules. Fully resolved, right. Okay, so it's fine. They fixed that. They fixed all of those issues. I missed about half of what you said, but your point is that it's safe, right? Yes, Dante, it's safe. Yes, as far as Faust is aware, even if an issue were to arise during the journey, because everyone will be reverted to their states at the beginning of the train trip upon arrival, there won't be any lasting complications from said problem. Boy, you've got some real talent in dragging out something as simple as, yeah, it's safe, to so many words. Seriously. Indeed, as Faust's talents are not limited to a singular field. I'll take that as a compliment. There's a smug fucking smile in there. Yes, I am amazing. Thank you for noticing, Jesus Christ, Faust. But okay, that still leaves a lot to be worried about. Wait, there was something odd about the way she phrased that. As far as Faust is aware, are you saying that it could be wrong? As a general rule, Faust does not err. However, Faust is also not a divine being. As a general rule, I am infallible. However, I am also not God. There are certain information in the world that Faust has yet to have access to. Therefore, while Faust may speak the facts, what is said may not always align with the truth. Okay, that was a very, very amazing way of putting, I'm always right, but when I'm wrong, I didn't get the information. I'm right based on everything that I know, which is everything. But in the event that I don't know everything, I may be wrong, but that's never going to happen. Probably. I'll call first class for nothing, I guess. P-Corp's way up there in the northernmost corner of the city, but this thing'll take us there in the blink of an eye, huh? That's one hell of a time saver, but okay, so P-Corp is in the northernmost corner of the city. Huh. So if we're going there, and the city is in the north, why didn't Don Quixote know anything about the way the northerners dress? She'd know if she's from P-Corp, which is in the north. Huh. Interesting. That's probably nothing. Hua, hua, hua. Prepare thyself, Rocinante. Thus begins the long jaunt, the longest jaunt that ever jaunted jaunt. Because we're going to be spending an eternity here on this train. Oh, I've been meaning to ask Don Quixote, do you ever, wash those shoes? Where'd that come from, Rhodia? No, I mean, like, think back to when we were inside that whale. Yeah, did you even, when that whale blew up, we got all kinds of gross, slimy bits on us. They were on our clothes, on our shoes, everything. Yeah. And do you remember how much work it took us to clean our bloodied, fishy, fleshy, gunked clothing? This really isn't something I want to revisit, but yeah. Right? And do you also remember how Don Quixote never took our shoes off once during that whole ordeal? Okay, I guess they do look a bit filthy. I ask thee, dear compatriots, hast thou ever witnessed an errant knight who leaves the side of their beloved steed? Can't say I ever witnessed a knight before, though. Then thou shalt know, starting now. Behold it, hearken to it, remember it well, my shoes. They're great. They never quiet down, do they? Whoa, have you been on one of these, Otis? I have been treated to premium VIP seats similar grandiosity back when. This is nothing to fuss over. Yeah, we'll get to you and whatever the hell the Odyssey is for. Otis, who was sitting there and shaking her legs, suddenly asked Faust a question. Shaking her legs? Hey, you're confident that no accidents ever occurred on one of these first-class cars, yes? Faust? In order to prevent cases of unnecessary anxiety and misgivings among the sinners, the history of accidents that has occurred aboard warp trains will not be In order to not rouse any kind of, anxieties, I'm not going to tell you. I have deemed it unnecessary to tell you about anything that may or may not have happened because you're gonna flip out, so I'm not gonna tell you shit. The end. Thank you, Faust. The answer is not 0. We know of at least one fucking time where some deranged maniac zombified the entire goddamn train. I never actually finished that story arc, but you know what? It basically ended in the whole train's fucked. Wait, what the beep? Oh, I think we're leaving soon. This is for warp train PW612. Bound for P Corp. Boarding period is ending soon. The sinners who were either leisurely enjoying their complimentary snacks or taking a look around the first-class car suddenly became a lot busier. Then let us hurry to enter our capsules before it's too late. Oh no, what? Oh no, why isn't this? The other sinners made it into their capsules with no problem, but I felt like I was the only one who's fumbling. Is it anxiety, Dante? I think so. Initiating warp in 10 minutes. Allow me to assist you. Stand as though you are leaning back, and Faust expertly guided me into the capsule as though she had done something like this before, then pressed a button inside the capsule that closed the hatch. Mommy Faust helps us. Performance issues, Dante 1 in 10. Look at the right. Look at the right. Don, what the fuck are you doing? Don, put your hands down. Don, what the? Moving on. Don't worry too much. No, we should worry. We should worry a lot. We will meet again in but a moment, Dante. I thought I heard a brief sigh, but the hatch shut tightly before I could ask her anything. Initiating warp. Please confirm that your seatbelts are firmly fastened. The last thing I saw before my capsule began to fill with gas was Faust climbing into her own capsule opposite of mine. I had no idea then what she really meant by "we will meet again in but a moment," which is right now. You're not worrying enough. All right, we've evolved from "it gets worse" to "you're not worrying enough." You're never. It's probably nothing. No, you're not worrying. It gets worse. You're not worrying enough. No, it'll get worse. It's still getting worse, but now we have "you're not worrying enough." Dante, you must wake up. Dante! But one thing I knew for sure was an inconceivable situation has occurred. Uh-huh. That something had seriously gone wrong. Well, okay then. So we've proceeded through most of the talking stage. Now we're on the train in the middle of whatever the fuck's happening. But what's happening? We're still not killing things. Oh, dear Lord. Disappearing passenger. Okay, so everyone's still frozen, it looks like, aside from Faust. We're already here? Wow, I guess that wasn't an exaggeration at all. It all really happened in the blink of an eye. As always, Faust was giving me her usual look, which was a complete lack of any emotive response. Or emotive expression, sorry. Which I suppose is why I didn't immediately register that something had gone awry. No, we are not yet at our destination. Huh? When I finally came to, after I had some time to digest that odd reply, I looked up at her face once again, and realized that her expression was more antsy than usual by a microscopically minuscule degree. So this train is still running? Yes. Then where are we? I believe we are currently stranded in an unidentified dimension. Coordinates unknown. I took a reflexive, deep breath from the sheer horror of the numerical implications stuffed into that dryly delivered service. Or dryly delivered sentence, sorry. So, wait a minute. It just hit me. Wait a minute, people disappear. Wait. People dying on the warp train isn't that shocking, because people die on the warp train all the fucking time. That's not normal. Well, that's not unnormal or unnatural. That's just how things go. But people disappearing from the warp train, that only happened when they went to the library. Oh no. Yeah, disappearing from the train entirely only happened one time. Or only happened in one instance, and it was going to the library. But yeah, no, we weren't worrying enough. Now we should be worrying more. Definitely it's going to get worse. When that passed, the first thing that struck my mind was that we were about to suffer the very thing that we were worried about. Yep! I see. But I soon found myself calming down. Yeah, this had to be part of Faust's plan. She probably saw this coming from a mile away. I'm sure she's about to proudly tell me every little detail of her plan that will help us out of this situation. But this is all just part of the plan, right, Faust? That was an unusually long silence from Faust. Yeah, but you know everything, right, Faust? You are half correct, yet half incorrect. Uh-huh. With that, Faust left me to flounder in the chaotic stream of vaguely terrifying information as she began stopping by each capsule to wake the sinners. Oh, we're here already? Man, it happened in the blink of an... No. Oi, what's this? We're here already? For real? That happened in the blink of a... No. Whoa, we're here. No. Oh, no. Yet I've not uttered a single word. I went along with the pacing of the scene. Yes, I didn't read their replies, but the whole thing was she just walked by and not listened to them anyway. If this was an anime, we wouldn't be able to even hear them. It was a brief cheer, a little hurrah about regaining our colors, followed by a flat tone expression of our current predicament, which was then followed by a long, loaded silence, which was a sequence of events I had the pleasure of watching play out on about 10 consecutive occasions. Dante, I understand your confusion. However, perhaps an elaboration of our present circumstance is necessary. And that brings us to the present. Let me get this right. This train's still running, and we're drifting through some unknown dimension. Ooh, aught about that striketh me as quite dramatic. Okay. Most importantly, are you saying that you already knew this would happen, Faust? Yes. Because this always happens. This is how they fucking operate. Ha. What in the hell is wrong with you? Huh? The sinners each began to voice their anger. Of course, this wasn't the first time Faust and Virgilius intentionally and knowingly omitted certain details about events in our path. It has to be a surprise or it's not special. Limbus Company Management. What, are you insane? It's not like we can just retreat or jump out a window when the stuff hits the fan. Opening the door will result in nearly immediate destruction of the physical body. But hey, Faust, at least you know what to do like you always do. You've got a plan, right? Right? You've got a plan, right? Right? Also, stranger, because that doesn't actually show up. Thank you for the 60 bits there to make Total Biscuit huge. Big laugh. Also, you did it earlier today. That doesn't give me alerts, or rather, it doesn't go off properly. I'm not trained. I don't have the impulse trained to understand this new mechanic. But thank you, sir. Right? Though? Right? Faust, whom I had never seen at a loss for words, was having oddly long instances of silence. Oi, what's up with her? Lass looks totally out of it today. She gives me a sideways glance. There must be something she can't discuss in front of the sinners. Guys, let's pause for a bit. She said that something inconceivable's happened. The other sinner's anger was completely understandable. It would also make sense that this continued lack of communication is harming our trust in Faust. All right, we're going to go over the situation from the start, okay? But just letting things play out might really turn everyone against Faust, and for good. And I doubt Faust had any ill intent in waking us up in the middle of the trip. First things first, I gotta get the sinners to calm down. Then I'll ask Faust to tell us what happened. If there's a problem, we'll figure it out and deal with it as we move along. Yep, right, Tell us what's going on, Faust. All of it. And in a way that we can all understand. Let's hear her out first. Is that okay with you guys? If you say so, I'll go along with it. Fine, I suppose losing my rag rarely ever did anything. Wow. That's new for Heathcliff. I mean, granted, he's probably improving slightly since the end of chapter 6, but that's new. Wow. Holy shit. Heathcliff is developing like Yi Sang into actually recovering after their rout. Whoa. Heath is learning. Yes, wow. Thank you. Then, after some time, the gist of Faust's explanation was as follows. The cause of this issue, as always, involved a certain contract and a unilateral decision from the higher-ups of Limbus Company. W Corp caught wind of Limbus Company's recent distortion contract management promotions and decided to contract us to deal with a mysterious repeated series of incidents suspected to have been caused by a distortion. After multiple failed attempts to resolve it on their own, of course. The distortions themselves likely did not pose a problem for W Corp based on the available information. It could be determined that they would have all been neutralized as soon as the train arrived, and any transformed passengers would have been reverted to their human forms. But the real issue was that the passengers were disappearing. Or were they being eaten by the Langoliers? Passengers spirited away? Alas, such an impossibility aboard these trains, is it not? That is the question for which we must discover the precise cause and effect of. Did W Corp share anything to get us started? That appears to be the most prominent cause of this misunderstanding. She explained that W Corp refused to share anything about the trains because they were concerned about maintaining the secrets of their singularity, as per usual. Maybe that's exactly why they sought us out at an upstart business like Limbus Company to deal with this, now that I think about it. We wouldn't even know where to start if we didn't have access to the information that the identity cards had to offer. Faust produced what appeared to be a key card with a W Corp logo on it before continuing with her explanations. However, we were given this master key card that can open and close the hibernation capsules at will. We may return to our respective capsules as soon as the contract is fulfilled and safely complete. The rest of the journey as we had planned from the beginning. These bloody wings, every single one of them has been absolutely barmy. Whatever the hell that means. We're throwing English slang out there. I think it's a bit unkind of them to ask us to finish the puzzle without all the important pieces. At least at T-Corp, their chief executive director tagged along as our assistant, not to mention kindly explaining so many new things to us. Well, that guy seemed like a bit of a narcissist and an egomaniac, so that's not necessarily shocking after the end of that one. That guy was entertained by it. He didn't do it to be nice or help us. That guy was just tickled pink by the idea of being like, being like the, Can't remember the name of the series, but the boss who pretends to be an employee. It sounds like Miss Faust was stuck between a rock and a hard place herself. Some sinners grew more receptive after her explanation, a bit with a sigh. I would have appreciated if you at least gave us a hint. No, you wouldn't have, but of course we can't. It has to be a surprise in Limbus Company, or it's not special. Undercover boss, yeah, right. He seemed to be way too entertained by that concept. But we understand that literally no one at W Corp wants to get onto any of these fucking trains, most likely. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but it's not like there's someone out there monitoring your every move and every word, right? That is, not incorrect, Well, I suppose what we're also gonna see is an explanation of what the fuck Dimension Shredder is, since that's probably gonna come up too. This is Limbus Company. It's going to get worse. Yes, it's going to get worse even if we tell you how it's going to get worse. And then when we tell you exactly how it gets worse, it will get even worse after that one. We can't keep up. But not everyone was willing to let this go without saying their piece. Next time, I will take your inputs into account. No, you won't. No, you won't. And that's everything I can do for her. It's an undeniable truth that Faust has disappointed the sinners with what she's done. But she is Faust, after all. I'm sure she has a backup plan. She has backup plans for backup plans to get us out of this situation. So, what's next on our agenda? Yeah, what's done is done, right? Besides, it's not like we gotta rot away for thousands of years inside of this metal box. No, we probably do. That is something I must first discuss with Dante. Discuss? But discussing things with other people is very unlike Faust. What are we discussing, Faust? I recommend that you lower your voice from this point onward, Dante. What? Why are we whispering? Her secretive attitude only served to exacerbate my already battered sense of safety. My connection to Gesellschaft, Faust, has been severed. Wait, oh no. That's the that would be very bad if that happened to everybody else, because that means people die and we can't, people die when they're killed. That means people die when they're killed again. We can't, that's the only reason we get out of half of this shit. People die when they're killed. People don't die when they're killed. That's the only reason we succeed at anything. What happens when people die when they're killed again? I'm sorry, what? I cannot access Faust's knowledge at the moment. Oh, so everyone's still fine. But no, okay, you literally can't lord over us without, with all knowledge, that source, trust me. We finally have a name for the network, or rather, the representation emitter, then, I suppose. So that's what that is. Okay. No, it means she can't access the information the collective gives her. So she can't read any of the information that the other that Faust, massive air quotes over every Faust that ever existed, most likely. She's lost her Homer knowledge. Oh no. Oh no, she can't refer to herself in the third person anymore. Oh no! Okay, so that was the network and not the funny clock. My bad. Okay, that would have been bad, but this is still bad, but kind of manageable. I guess I was absolutely right to be anxious. What do you mean, Faust? The high and mighty Faust has absolutely no idea what to do next. This is just as bad, given the situation. Well, just as bad, maybe, but we can always fail upwards. Now, Faust, Calm yourself. I'm sure that with enough violence, we can solve this situation. Instead of omnipotent God, yeah, she's just kind of normal now, but she's also still immortal, so we're fine. But again, ladies and gentlemen, do not worry. I'm sure that with enough violence, we can find a peaceful solution to this situation. Okay, actually the first fight, inaccessible. Also, oh boy. Envy and Blunt, huh? Well, just Heathcliff then. Normal Heathcliff. But okay, we're actually getting, yeah, okay. So we're actually getting 20 points already, and we can get more? But okay, so 12? Jesus Christ. Okay, well, that's a problem.
네.
주인공
이곳 제 차례인가요?
자,
다들 좋아.
말뚝을
현장
그래.
Literally everyone!
불로 정화하고
But we have backups. So yeah, just in case you die horribly, which means that the game will try and kill us. What do you mean you can't? I mean it in the most literal sense. My access to Faust's input and information, which has always been readily available, is completely severed. Boy, what if everything about the situation is something you don't have access... The situation is something you don't have access to yet, like you said last time. One cannot completely dismiss that possibility, but even that is uncertain. Every answer Faust has given me was always full of confidence and methodical expertise. I don't think she's ever said a sentence that was this full of speculation and doubt. Then Faust, you are... Yes, at this moment, I am limited to operating only within my knowledge. I cannot discern the cause of this disconnection more than enough precautions have likely been taken in case of interdimensional travel. But perhaps Faust did not take into account an occasion in which we may have to access an unidentified dimension such as this. Or, even if it was taken into account, this particular dimension may not yet have been subject to cross-observation. I.e., if we know we have to go into a mystery black hole, we have no way of seeing what's inside the mystery black hole, so we're kind of flying in the dark. If that is not the case, then I know... Never mind. She's uncomfortable referring to herself in the first person? Maybe because there is no Faust in this dimension. There was nothing that suggested that my connection to Faust would be lost, not even as we boarded the train. To be honest, this is a rather disagreeable situation for me. Oh no, I can't sit here smugly knowing literally everything, and not telling everyone. Dante, I'm scared! I'm not actually full of myself anymore! The glass is empty! Ah! Alright, for now. Now that changes everything. Now I actually have to be a leader rather than walking and playing a part that was clearly put together by literally everyone else above me, including Faust. Nope, now we actually have to do leadership things. Whoa! I recall the last thing I saw before the hatch on the capsule closed, when Faust told me not to worry too much. Okay, this is just a minor setback, nothing we can't beat, right? We've got this. I began to mutter like I was trying to convince myself. As the manager, my job is to calm everyone down and set their sights on the future, just as Faust did for me immediately before the hatch closed. Right? I've got to pretend that I have some idea of what's going on, even if I don't, so that other people calm the fuck down and we can actually possibly do stuff. Because if we're all raving around like, you know, paranoid ninnies with horrifying anxiety problems, we're not going to get anything done. If you're right about why you were disconnected, then that problem will solve itself once we're off the train. And if we don't If we do ever run out of options, I'll just turn back the clock and see what happens. Don't stress yourself too much. We still have a lot of work. We still have a lot to work with. Your knowledge, my clock, and the sinners, and I could feel my confidence taking a hit with every word that came out of my metaphorical mouth, but that seemed to be enough for Faust. She nodded. Understood. And to the sinners, the fact that we are currently confined to a warp train in operation must be a source of enough stress. I believe that sharing Faust's current state with them would add an unnecessary source of tension. You mean they would make fun of you relentlessly, but yeah, probably not. Everybody calm the fuck down. Well, now your only option is gratuitous violence. Oh wait, that's our only option. That's always our only option. That's how we get things done all of the time! What, so wrecking this door ain't gonna do anything? We're all going to bite it once it opens. How many times do I have to tell you that you're not even strong enough to break this door down? A billion years in this box. Ha ha. Yeah, good idea. So what now? Do we have to take a searching sweep around each car or something? In the grand scheme of things, yes. Faust cleared the air with a cough before continuing. By A-Corp standard timescale, approximately 3 days have passed since our departure. As per the contract between Limbus Company and W Corp, I acquired the master keycard placed inside my capsule and adjusted the hatch settings to open automatically in 3 days. 3 days, huh? I feel like I just blinked, and I guess that's hibernation for you. As you were all informed prior to boarding, there is no way for the economy passengers to enter the first-class car. That is why this place has remained untouched. However, cross-referencing my own deductions with W Corp's rather fragmentary explanations, I can assume that the situation is currently under progress in the economy class cars. The situation is loose. The part where they thrash the shit out of one another, tearing limbs off, all that mess? No, I doubt that. I don't think it gets that bad in just 3 days. Besides, that's supposed to be business as usual for W Corp, right? There must be something else that's out of the ordinary that they want us to deal with. Precisely. In my opinion, it is... Ooh, hold on. Hold that thought for but a moment. Just as Faust was about to continue, Don Quixote raised her index finger to her lips and signaled her to be quiet. Dost thou hear aught as I do? Scratching, nay, rapping, forsooth. Past this gate must be, As Don Quixote kept listening with her ear to the door, an odd expression of half curiosity and half horror appeared on her face. It is possible that there must be, Lady Faust? After that very distressful noise, everyone simultaneously turned their heads to look at Faust, who closed her eyes briefly in thought. Please step aside for a moment, Don Quixote. It would be best if I observed it with my own eyes. With that, she produced the master keycard from her pocket and approached the panel installed next to the door, and then most likely a body flopped out or some kind of horrifying abnormality has already taken hold inside the train. Whoa, hang on a minute. You're going to open the door? I intend to follow your usual flavor of suggestion, Heathcliff. That there are times in which a physical altercation is preferable to detached ruminations. I can't think anyway, so the only choice is violence. Get ready for a banger of a fight thing. Cool. My suggestion? Well, I ain't gonna disagree with you there, but what's gotten into you, lass? After all, how could I deduce anything without seeing it myself? Yeah, right, I'm human now, so I have to see things. I actually have to look with my own eyes at things rather than sitting there talking to whatever fucking hive mind thing Faust has. After a brief mechanical beat, hideous creatures suddenly crashed through the open door and charged wildly in our direction. Hideous creature, wow, 3 days? Oh, and a fun gimmick of these fights, Because when you hit them, they get a stack of bleed.
늦으면 매피랑 먼저 갈 거야.
Interesting. Craving blood bag passengers. Uh-huh. Okay.
신속히 처리하죠.
카론, 기다리는 거 못해. 100초만 기다려줄게.
Well, I'm just gonna win rate and see what happens.
없어.
Well, they've mutated into something, but they're not Love Town yet.
문점을 준비하고.
적들이 흔들흔들. 기회 아니야?
I think Warp Corp Faust is suffering, but unfortunately, well, I don't actually have to have them on the field, just in the party, so that's fine.
참여하게 되리라.
But this doesn't seem too bad. But Warp Corp Faust is definitely, you know, losing clashes because she's not totally leveled up. But she's still winning something there, so that's not too bad.
승객이 딱콩 한 번 먹였어. 야호. 이기는
Yeah,
편
they all have
우리
fragile
편.
on them. Gain offense level and defense level equal to the max value. Interesting. But they're taking more damage though. That's weird. Okay. Reading their passives probably would help, but you know what? I'm too tired for that shit. Yeah, currency bonus still applies even if they're on the bench. Notice.
지금이 기회인 것 같소. 다음은 어디요?
I've just noticed the arrows on the characters. That's
너무 쉽군요.
so that clearly denotes the stagger thresholds there. And okay, we're done. That was easy. Not too bad, but expected for a first fight in an event. Lady Faust, however similar in appearance they may have been to passengers, verily, 'tis as though they were in complete want of sense. Like people politified by the whale. Don Quixote hesitated until the last minute before raising her weapon to fight them. She hangs her head mournfully. Normally, Faust would have told her more information about those monsters before the fight began, and she would not have been burdened by the sheer thought of bringing harm to the innocent. Faust began searching the area, closely observing various bodies and the general area of information. General area for information. You appear particularly inquisitive today, Miss Faust. Yeah, aren't you usually the one that has all the answers while we're racking our brains trying to come up with something? The sinners were starting to feel that there was something off about Faust's behavior. They might even soon realize that there's something wrong with Faust right now, but they wouldn't understand how the whole network thing works. That would take several leaps of logic. But Don Quixote, they are not dead. Huh? Observe closer. The parts are all tethered to one another by something, are they not? Oh! It appears that the flow of time has ceased in this space. Therefore, it follows that the connections that tether bodies to life and away from death remain intact. To my relief, Faust managed to correctly figure out what's going on, like her usual self, even if it took her slightly longer than it usually does. Hey, what I'd say, we got this. What was that about? Oh, nothing. But I'd forgotten that not all sinners were content with nodding along to whatever information Faust told us. The flow of time has ceased aboard a warp train, is it? Isang grew pensive, seeing Faust's lips parted for a moment before closing shut. I was starting to get a good read on her. That was an unmistakable look of regret, no matter how short-lived. Howbeit, would it not be more accurate to muse that the flow of time has decelerated to the point where, to an extra-dimensional observer, it has slowed to a stop? What is your perspective regarding the situation? That is the most rational suggestion, Yi saying. Did Mess Faust just get something wrong? Wow, Yi saying sure is a time expert, right? You can summarize it in an easier language now that we're talking about it anyway. Can you summarize it in an easier language now? Thanks. Gladly. If you would allow me. Yisang began to elaborate with gentle enthusiasm. That was close. Yes, feed someone else's ego. Real close. Duck, dodge, evade, chaff, flare. To speak in brevity, it can be said that death is not an element aboard this train. And can you maybe speak a little less brevity? To elaborate. Verily, this one's heart beats still. Don Quixote lowers her head and listens closely to what appears to be a dismembered torso and shouts with relief, "He's alive!" Drops to the floor. Their state is akin to an unassembled jigsaw puzzle, merely immobilized and separated. Though their corpus has not been sundered, the concept of death is at a state of, for all intents and purposes, eternal delay aboard this train. Existence in continuance of moratorium. That's a weird way of putting it, but okay. Forced, they are, to be tethered upon the thinnest yet tenacious thread of life. I ill understood what has been said here. Yet they are not dead all the same. If their severed parts are all connected, then it can be said no matter how entangled their bodies become, it is not impossible to eventually gather their parts together to form a single passenger. Thus, naturally, we can determine how and why the profession W Corp cleanup agent has come to be. I see, because someone will have to categorize and reconstruct the puzzles once the journey is over. It is really baffling to me that a job like that even exists, but this is the city where fucking anything happens. Ever seen a wing that wasn't baffling in every sense of the world? Nope. Still, I guess that means that as long as the train arrives at the station, they'll all be put back together like nothing happened. From what I learned through W Corp identities, their main job is to gather chunks of flesh together to bring them back to their original shapes before they boarded the trains. It's a lot more visceral when I have to look at it in person. Phew, that is quite the auspicious news among ill tidings indeed. It soon clicked with me what Faust was, though with some effort, trying to do as I watched Don Quixote sigh with relief. Maybe Faust was trying to cheer Don Quixote up in her own way, and she's kind of terrible at doing that of her own accord. Yes, when you don't have limitless knowledge, apparently, it's very hard to actually figure out what to do. The other Faust would not find it even necessary to do something like that. Dante? What's up? Oh, time to whisper, right? Indeed. I intend to collect further intelligence. Well, if there's anything I can tell you... Faust cast a dark gaze toward the chunks of flesh. Her gaze remained fixed upon them as she whispered. Are they distortions or abnormalities? Oh, yeah, I actually wanted to ask you about that. I don't know, so that's why I'm asking you. They weren't humans, that's for sure. From them, I felt the same sensation I felt from monsters. Something inexplicable, an unclear sensation of an aura. I felt this somewhere before, I'm sure of it, but I couldn't quite pinpoint the source of this sensation. One thing I do know for sure is that this sensation was not the same feeling I got from anomalies, distortions, or even the Pecatula. If I had to lean one way or the other, I'd say they're closer to distortions. I'm sorry, I don't think they're either of those. It was difficult to be certain. Is it difficult to be certain at the moment? Again, I'm not sure how I can explain this, but they're very, very similar to distortions, but also different. If you had to ask, then I'm gonna guess Faust doesn't know. Faust may know, but I, at this moment, have no way of knowing. I feel like I should apologize for that. There is no need, Dante. though the information you have provided me is rather ambiguous, it has helped me to deduce something of worth. And collecting intelligence myself and creating deductions based on sparse information is quite... She paused, holding a bloody, slimy chunk of flesh in her hands. Did you just smile? Did she just smile to herself with gore in her? Heathcliff! Get out of here, we're having a moment! Ah, yes, I have to think again. How novel. Ooh, finally, the awakening has begun. Ryoshu, shut up. Shut up!
아무래도 다른 사우들의 몫까지 해결해버린 모양이구려. 보상은 없는가?
I mean, he still has the right to be worried. I mean,
다른 일을
yes,
하는
but...
것이어도 좋으니.
Okay, so how much did that get us? Okay, so we have 48, which is okay. We could use some ego shards here, but obviously we're gonna... Well, we need to say... Well, that's for later. That's for mining that later. I mean, we could also just kind of... Real quick, because this will obviously be the thing we waste this on. Penny into the well. Yeah, Deku's gonna have fun with that. If he decides to draw her, Deku's gonna have fun with that. Let's see if we can pull it. Nope. Here, one more. The Mirror Dungeon gives event currency. As I figured. Or suspected. Okay, nothing. Alright. Multi-crack office. Interesting. Odo. Well, actually, that's a... Okay, that's that guy. Who the Faust identity is based on, clearly. But, okay. And then there's some stuff happening over there. After a round of intelligence gathering from Faust, we opened the door to the next cabin, only to be greeted by a loud commotion. Sounds like there are other survivors. Ah, passengers in danger. Worry not, for I have arrived to... Yeah! Aha. Hag time, I see. Not just Faust, but hag time in general. Whoa, don't come any closer. Who the hell are you guys? A four-armed woman suddenly jumped in our path. She appeared without warning. Faust stumbled a little, inadvertently slapped by the figure's swinging arms as she pushed us away. Right, like you gave me any warning before you practically kicked that door open. Would you mind moving that huge sword out of our faces? It's a bit disconcerting. Threatening? I'm just trying to protect those civilians in this car. Also, is that a bioprosthetic? Must be an old-timer, huh? I thought those things went out of style forever ago. Oh, you want to see what this old-timer's got left in him? Let's calm down, folks. Aha, thou art from the north, verily. Thy garb is of that of northerners, no? This really ain't the time, lass. Again with that, so... She's from P-Corp, we're going over there, and she's from the north, and that's what the people in the north look like, then obviously she'd already know that, so why'd she have to ask the question? Anyways, it looks like we're in the same mess here. Make way for us, yeah? She seemed to be sizing us up for a moment. How do I trust you? You got any proof that you ain't bitten? Bitten? I'm not gonna let all my effort protecting this place go to waste. Bitten? Bitten? The hell are you talking about? Weird, you look completely lost. If you were in one of the economy cars, I'm sure you'd have seen... Hold on. Are y'all from the first class car? Yeah, we just woke up from the capsules. But none of you look very... I mean, aren't first class seats supposed to be, well, Why didn't you... Well, why didn't you say so from the get-go? Name's Sasha, multi-crack office rep. Well, okay, so... Clearly the Mechanicus has arrived here, but there's one. Sasha, though. We'll have to see what Deku does with this one. With that, she lowered her weapons and allowed us to pass. Have you not left this car for the duration of the ride, Sasha? No, I haven't. We warped over to T-Corp after picking up one of their contracts, but geez, can you believe that this train broke down? Shit, is it even broken? Yeah. Well, you see, here's the thing. She's been on the warp train. She doesn't remember any of this, and now she's here, and this is all new again. So, well, just warp things. I'm not feeling hungry or sleepy at all. It stinks of some shady bullshit, if you ask me. You probably said that on the ride over here, too. You can feel it all. You can feel all that even in a prosthetic body? Man, how can I live without my favorite hobby, drifting into a sweet nap after a pleasant meal? So I made sure to get high-quality parts for them so I can still feel hungry and sleepy. Uh-huh. Okay. Hasn't something else of note occurred? You bet your ass. Did something else of note go down? How distracting. Is it hard for you to speak without being so hyper? Or at least stop swinging your arms around like that. Can't do that, friend. I broke all my prosthetic arms in a fight, so I'm calibrating a new set. Gotta keep swinging them if I want them to sync up with the other parts anytime soon. Anywho, I don't know what the hell's going on, but people started turning into some weird monsters all of a sudden. Haven't a goddamn clue as to who they are. Don't seem like they can understand us either. Good thing my train car didn't have a lot of those monsters. I just chopped what monsters there were to pieces and hauled the civilians to this vacant car. Sob. 3,201 red colors. 3,202 red colors. What? What? That man counting bloodstains? You have decided to protect them despite the provincial risk that they may transform as well. But of course, 'tis expected duty of a valorous fixer to stand guard in the front lines against evil to protect the weak. I've been keeping a close eye on him for the last 3 days, and so far, 0 transformations. Go past this car and you'll see what hell on earth really means. Those monsters are constantly trying to claw their way to the front of the train. So if you ask me, I'd wager that some shit went down there at one of the train cars in the back, and it spread like wildfire till it reached here. I see. And that's all I can tell you about the situation. So what's your story? Why did you rich first-class folk decided to suddenly grace us peasants with your presence? Nothing that's happened here could have made it to your swanky first-class cars, so what's your business down here? W Corp has hired us to solve this case. We are, fixers. Indeed, fixers. Yes, we're fixers. We fix things. Faust wore a look of reluctant acceptance as she affirmed Don Quixote's declaration. Yes, we're fixers for a day here. Huh. They got every single one of you a first-class ticket. Your office must be rolling in the dough. Wait a goddamn second. So W Corp already knew that this would happen? But, are you really contracted to a wing? Not sure if I trust you. As you must be well aware yourself, contracts and contract fulfillment are of paramount importance to fixers. With that in mind, please recall that W Corp is one of the most secretive wings in the city. Ah, a non-disclosure agreement, huh? Makes sense. I wouldn't want to deal with those Ophi boys either. The Oifi. I know that's not how you say that, but that's the Oifi. The city lawyers, but the Oifi. Anyways, I'm still gonna have to ask for proof that you're actually contracted by W Corp. This is This is the master key card given to us by W Corp. I believe that it can open most doors aboard this train. Faust produced a master key card from our pocket. I guess there isn't any other way for us to prove that we're actually contracted by W Corp. A key card. So use this to open the path between the first class and the economy class car. Let's see. W Corp logo. Whoa, nice materials. Looks like you're telling the truth. Alright, I want pride, not that there's any cash in it for me. So I guess you gotta go all the way down there for your job, huh? Yes. The fixer finally got out of the way. Then, with one of her free hands pointed towards the opposite door. Well, it's your funeral, ladies and gents. Or your victory lap. I guess you guys are really that good. Lots of luck to you, y'all. I thank thee for thy words of courage, Fixer Sasha. I shall trust thee with protection of this fortress. Prithee, protect the innocent in my stead. Big sis, are you a fixer? Are you gonna save us from the monsters in the cars behind us? No, you're all going to be turned to goo, but you'll be fine by the time everyone gets out of this train. Oh? Cute girl, though. But, Just as we're about to reach the other end of the car, a little passenger pulled on Don Quixote's coattails. Aye, forsooth. Whoa, are you a famous fixer? Forsooth, once again, thou mayest know me as a profoundly illustrious fixer. Yes, I'm cool. Whoa, I want to be a fixer too, just like you. Don't pester the lady. I'm sorry, she's my daughter, and... Aha, worry not thyself. 'Tis no bother at all. Thou must dream of becoming a fixer thyself, little squire. It is fortunate that someone like yourself is aboard the train. Your presence ensured that child's survival. What you're talking about all of a sudden? Come on, no need to keep up appearances between people in the same line of work. I'm just here to collect some sweet emergency contract fees from each and every one of them. You're not gonna get any of them. Are you two on something or what? I see. I don't think Don Quixote needs to hear what she just said. Well, she's doing right. She's being paid for it. You better get paid for it, but she's doing right. Didn't know you could be like that, Faust. Be like what? You knew there was no way the fixer was actually there to protect them out of pure goodwill, but you decided to go along with Don Quixote's delusions anyway. Am I right? Good move. I was getting worried about what might happen if she started acting out again. You saw the twinkle in her eyes too, right? Don Quixote's always been energetic, but she's been especially bouncy today. Eyes. Do people look at eyes? Is that normal? I don't really look at people. Is that what people do? Is that what they're looking at when they stare at each other? Is it the eyes? Is that what normal people do? I don't actually know. Again, I'm barely here when I'm doing my stuff. Damn. Faust strode towards Sasha with a question. I have one last thing to inquire. It'll be 30K per inquiry. That is quite an unsound decision to make for someone who claims to be in the same line of work as us. Have you considered the possibility that once our contract is successfully completed, we could include references to a particularly cooperative associate office in our report to W Corp? Whoa, are you serious? Well then, let me hear it. Were the eyes of the monsters you faced red by any chance? Sasha paused her swinging arms for a moment upon hearing the question, appearing to either be in thought or trying to recall something, then answered. I don't know. It was a pretty hectic battle in a narrow hallway, so I didn't have time to wither withal to get a good look at their eyes. Is it something important? Well, for one, my prosthetic eye is red. That passenger over there's got red eyes. Oh, you there. That lady with the big swords also got red eyes. What, is someone out there paying cash for info on red eyes or something? You're all already dead. No, well, it was a question of no significance. Faust nodded lightly in her direction, then opened the door to the next car. Whistle. Here I go murdering again. No, at first it looked like nondescript red goo, but now there's a skeleton. Yep, there's the event horizon in it. It was just as we feared. The scene that appeared before us looked like it came straight out of a painting of hell. Ryosha would know this. Yeah, okay, so, those people are already dead. Oh, it gets worse. The art even gets worse when people are not in the way. It gets worse. Even now, it continues to get worse. Right, so those people are already dead. They haven't realized it yet, but those people are already dead. Right, so there's that, and more fighting. Painting of hell. Yeah, there's a whole hell screen thing for Ryoshu. Go back to the event menus. Why would I need to do that? Well, yes, her, and then some other, well, there's you, and then whatever the hell's going on over there. So what am I looking for? Too early. It changes. Oh. Oh, wonderful.
돌아가지 못하리라.
Well, she may be rather conservatively designed there, with very baggy clothes hiding up any womanly bits, but Deku can fix that.
전투응대에 나선다.
Event screen changes as you okay. So not only do we have the background, we have the fucking menu for the event changing. Wonderful. There's W. Corp Faust kind of suffering a bit.
늦으면 내피랑 먼저 갈 거야.
Those are counters. We could play it smart or not in a bonehead. I'm probably not going to be streaming for too much longer, but not. We will come back to this, because I want to finish this, but we're going to have to wait a bit.
승객이 딱
Because it's
한 방 먹였어.
nearly 11 o'clock.
적들이 흔들흔들. 기회 아니야?
뭐가 찬 저항이 부리다.
야호. 이기는 편,
전투응대에
우리 편.
이단을
We shall
정화해
continue the boneheading.
무덤을 준비하고.
무얼 잘못했는지 아는 것부터가 시작이 됐어. 야호.
There is one guy left. He is already dead.
전투응대에 나선다.
Splish. Actually, no, he actually survived the hit. He survived to get hit. I thought he had enough bleed that he was going to die instantly, but okay. On to the next murdering.
아무래도 다른 사우들의 목까지 해결해버린 모양이구려. 보상은 없는
Okay, even more murdering.
잠시 다른 일을 하는 것이어도 좋으니.
Continued murdering.
싱싱한 풀이 보이네.
These seem like very simple fights here. I'm just going to win right through them until we actually have a problem.
늦으면 내피랑 먼저 갈 거야.
침묵하라.
승객이 따끔 한 방 먹였어.
They're probably going to get more durable as we go on, but it seems like things are pretty easy so far.
100초만 기다려줄게.
No need to use our brains just yet. However, that was winning a lot of collaborative there.
단숨에
재밌네요.
내피가 배고파했어.
신속히 처리.
잘 됐다.
I have multi-crack Faust available for support if you want to see how much of a monster it is. Does she make more money for the event? Because then I can just swap her. does. Good.
무얼 잘못했는지 아는 것부터가 시작이랬어. 적들이 흔들흔들 기회 아냐?
지금이 기회인 것 같소.
Right. Charge jumps randomly trip alarms for some reason. Oh, is that what that is? That might be a hint to sort something. That doesn't do anything right now, but that might be something that...
카론, 스탄해줄게.
that might be another layer of mechanics they'll fuck with later.
참여하게 되리라.
꿈을 꾸러 가.
Well, it's W4 personnel unleashing warp weapons on a warp train. Yes, that does make sense. However,
지금이 기회인 것 같소.
that tips you off that they've tied certain responses to certain attacks. So they might use that against us in the future. Apparently doesn't do anything right now, but that's something. That might be a haha just for show, but that also could be a haha. This will make fights harder in the future.
참여하게 되리라.
Or this may be a required mechanic in the future.
침묵하라.
야호.
We're taking forever to kill these guys, so, well, let's see here. We do have Land of Illusion. Can I throw Land of Illusion out? And yes, I can do that. Okay, fantastic. Let's speed this up a bit. Just in case they happen to not die. Don, please stop using Rip Space. Please stop using Rip Space when you don't have the fucking health for it. Enemy team's loaded reserve. Oh, right. Oops. I didn't notice that they have reserves. I thought they hadn't died yet.
지금이 기회인 것 같소.
이단을 정화해.
이제 쉬시게.
And didn't need it. They're all dead. Okay. Though that got a little chunky there at the end, but all right. Phew, battling in a narrow hallway really takes a lot out of you. Too bad. Making big movements when there's not a lot of room to move around in takes more energy than you might think, especially for people like us who use longer weapons. These enemies weren't much harder than the ones we'd fought earlier, but it was inevitable that their sheer number would eventually wear down the sinners. Oh, what are these things, Faust? Yeah, I've been wondering that too. Why are you so tight-lipped all of a sudden? Those entities are... What do you think those entities are? Huh? Didn't I just ask you the same question? Oh no, are you giving us a chance to come up with our own answers first? Ah, yes, I'm being smart. Of course, Faust did not confirm or deny his question, but Sinclair was perfectly capable of interpreting her silence in his own fashion. There were some things I learned after fighting them, I think. These monsters aren't mad at us, nor do they want to attack us because we're an obstacle. That's not why they're attacking us. Quite. 'Tis apparent that they hunger for aught, charging at anyone and anything in a desperate quest of it. Right, that's strange, though. I thought hunger or thirst wasn't a thing aboard these trains. It could be determined that the entity's attack patterns... From the enemy attack patterns, that their offensives were not based on rational thought. The source of this behavior can only be traced back to primal aggressiveness. Yes, and was there anything else? Anything else, Oh yeah. I think they all had red eyes. Their bodies wreathed in blankets of red. I smelled blood, so that's likely what they're made of. Then it must be that the red is coagulated, nay, crystallized blood. Thank you all. Your input has been very helpful. It was my turn to start whispering. What did you learn from that? We are in luck, Dante. I have read upon this subject as a tangent while pursuing information regarding our next destination. Moments before we boarded the train, and while that will be a useful element in resolving the situation, the sinners have also been a very good source of intelligence when it came to categorizing and identifying important evidence from the available sea of information. Your advice was correct, Dante. You mean, you know what to do to blow this case wide open? Nothing can be said with absolute certainty at the moment. However, this will be a good place for us to start. With that, Faust turned around and faced the rest of the sinners. I will now present before you a solution to this predicament. Huh? Is there something else we gotta do other than beating the crap out of whatever's in our way? That will not change, no. However, what I am about to share will give you a better understanding of the purpose behind W Corp's contract and provide us with the possible means of finding the method by which we may complete it. It is of high likelihood that the entity behind the incidents on this train, and by extension every incident of the same nature, has occurred in previous warp train trips, or incident of the same nature, is a blood fiend. Okay. What's that? Faust, what the fuck is that? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're gonna have to cut it here. We're gonna have to leave it on that cliffhanger. What the fuck is a blood fiend? We'll find out next time, because now I've gotta go to bed. It's damn near 11 o'clock. Right, okay, so I will, of course, take the rest of the pulls here, because why not? 5 pulls. Blood fiends were explained in Ruina. Actually, wait a minute. Huh, wait a minute. Now I remember something. I was talking about somebody. Someone who knew a lot about Ruina, and they actually mentioned blood fiends. So, It's very late, but now I remember. I think I remember a little bit about this, but it's too late to actually remember everything. But this is actually familiar. I believe I have spoken with someone about this, and they were rattling on very energetically about this topic and a couple of others. So, it wasn't Deku though. And we get to see someone's Vampire the Masquerade campaign characters. Okay, too sharp. Is it new? No, but it is Faust. Okay, next. I'm starting to see a pattern here. Then the pattern was broken. All right, one more. Were those there before? Am I going mad? Nope, nothing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Okay, so we'll be back to finish this because this appears to be very interesting, and I will finish this event, but it is 11 o'clock? That's enough for one day. I'll be back tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. But enjoy the rest of your evening, folks. I have been your host, Phontomen, and I'll see you next time. Yep. Zera, you're too late. See you tomorrow.